It was late in the afternoon on November 8th, 2025. And it was my fourth day out riding in the Appalachian and Blue Ridge Mountains. I'd started that morning in Beckley, West Virginia, and ridden deep into coal country. It was a rainy morning, but the sun came out as I turned back towards Tazewell, Virginia, to ride the back of the Dragon. It had been a long, full day, the good kind of long, but it wasn't over yet. I was in Marion, Virginia, and my hotel was in Wytheville, 40, maybe 50 miles northeast, if I took the highway. But there was a scenic route. There's always a scenic route. I crossed under Interstate 81 on the east side of Marion and felt the relief of leaving 81 behind. I've spent too many hours on that road. It's a highway, and it'll get you there, but it's never the best way on a motorcycle. The plan was straightforward. Route 16 east to Route 58, then north on 21 to Wytheville. Quiet Virginia back roads, a chilly November afternoon. An hour or two, maybe a little more. It seemed simple enough. Within a few minutes, I was riding into the Mount Rogers National Recreation Area, and the road started doing what good roads do. It stopped being about getting somewhere and started being just worth riding for its own sake. Somewhere in there, my phone lost its signal, and that means I lost my maps. I knew the road I was on would meet up with Route 58, eventually, but the miles were adding up, and I hadn't seen a sign for it. I usually ride with a standalone GPS as backup, but I didn't have it this time, just the phone, and the phone had nothing to show me. So I started wondering if I'd already passed it. The thing about riding a motorcycle through country like this is that being unsure of exactly where you are isn't really a problem. It's just the situation. You keep riding, you see what's ahead, you trust that the road goes somewhere and that somewhere will be just fine. So in the small town of Grant, I made a left onto Flat Ridge Road, Route 658. Not because I was certain it was right, but because it angled towards where I wanted to be, and it looked interesting. And interesting's reason enough. What I didn't know, what I only found out later, was that Route 58 was only 3 miles ahead. 3 miles. I'd have found it in a few minutes if I'd stayed the course, but I didn't, and I think this actually made the day better. Flat Ridge Road narrowed down almost immediately. No center line, farms on both sides, and the road moved the way farm roads move, purposefully, following the land rather than fighting it. Along the way, the road changed its name without telling me. Route 658 became Corners Rock Road. Route 601 picked up the name Flat Ridge Road. And I followed what I thought was 658, but was really now 601. Are you confused? So was I. So I was a little deeper into the Virginia countryside than I had planned, on a road I hadn't heard of. And the only thing I knew was that I was heading in generally the right direction. So that's enough. Eventually, this beautiful, twisty Virginia back road led me back out onto Route 16, heading west, back toward Marion, which told me what I needed to know. My signal came back, and I let the phone sort out the most direct route to my hotel. And the fastest route, as it turns out, included about 20 miles of Interstate 81. I guess I had it coming. Later on, looking more closely at the maps, I realized a couple of things that made me smile. If I had stayed on Route 16, I'd have found Route 58 in about 3 miles. And if I had stayed on Route 658 instead of following 601, I'd have landed on another beautiful twisty road that would have taken me up to Route 21 anyway. But the roads I ended up on were just as quiet, just as unhurried, and just as worth riding. So it turned out that every road was the right road. There's an old saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road can take you there. And it's usually meant as a warning. But out here, it felt more like an invitation. And that's the thing about traveling this way, on 2 wheels, with loose plans, and plenty of time. You're never really lost. Thanks for riding along. Until the next ride, be safe, be curious, and keep meandering.